This is topic B on page 101, determining potential outcomes using scenarios. Data tables are a convenient way to perform what-if analysis when you need to account for only one or two variables. But what if you need to account for more than two variables? And although convenient, data tables take up a considerable amount of time on worksheets, especially if you include numerous values for the variables. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to perform the same type of analysis for more than two variables without cluttering your worksheets? This is what the next type of what-if analysis, our scenarios, can do. Scenarios are a type of what-if analysis that enable you to define multiple variables for multiple formulas or functions to determine a variety of outcomes. Unlike data tables, which create new data sets comprising the various calculation results, scenarios change the displayed values of both the cells containing the variables, which are known as changing cells in scenarios, and the cells with the formulas or functions fed by the variables. As you display each scenario, Excel simply replaces the displayed values in place. Another key difference is that when you create scenarios, Excel converts any formulas or functions in changing cells to values, so you lose the original formulas and functions. For this reason, it is a good idea to make a copy of your original data set before creating scenarios for it, or to include a scenario that represents all of the original values. So here on my example worksheet, suppose we are promoters for concerts, and we want to price up different scenarios for different expenses. Oops, accidentally opened something up here. Bear with me. So we're concert promoters, and we want to look at different scenarios for different costs to see what our profit or loss would be. So in this setup, the top section, I have a venue with the number of seats listed for 300, and I have some expenses, my different costs. I have talent, $4,000. The venue rental for this would be $500. The amplification would be $300, lighting $250, ticketing $200, security $150, and insurance $100. So that gives me total cost, so that's taking the sum of B6, the talent, through B12 of insurance. The sum of that gives me $5,500 worth of expenses. And if I scroll down on my worksheet, I then have a revenue section. So the price per ticket I have for this is $30. So for ticket sales, if I take a look at this formula, it's taking the value in B4, which is the total number of seats, multiplied by the price per ticket of $30. So 300 times $30 give me ticket sales of $9,000. And I have merchandising. So in this, we're assuming that the average seat spends $5 buys $5 worth of merchandise at our concert. So it takes the constant of 5 times B4, the amount of seats, 300, which gives us a total amount of $1,500 for merchandising. And then suppose the average, every seat spends an average of $15 for food and beverage at the concert. So 300 seats times the constant of $15 gives you a total of $4,500 worth of revenue for food and beverage. So then our total revenue takes the sum of B19 through B21, which is all our revenues. $9,000 plus $1,500 plus $4,500 gives us our total revenue of $15,000. So then our total profit or loss, that formula is going to take B22, our total revenue, minus our total costs, or all of our expenses. So B22 minus B13, which gives us a profit of $9,500. Now suppose we wanted to take a look at different scenarios where the expenses are changing for our different venues. The amount of seats in our venue is changing if we take a look at a larger venue. And the price per ticket is also changing. We can create different scenarios using what we call Scenario Manager. So first, what I want you to take note of is I have highlighted with the background color of yellow all of the cells here that actually perform a calculation. So these aren't constant values, these are calculations represented in yellow. And that is because you never want to use an input cell for a calculation. So we're going to be changing our input cells. Number of seats, again the expenses, the price per ticket. So what we want to do is select B4. I'm going to hold down my control key, select B6 through B12. Still holding down my control key, I'm also going to select B17. So these are what we call in our Scenario Manager of changing cells. These are the input cells that are going to vary depending on what venue we choose. So then I go up to my Data tab, and in my forecast command group, I'm going to choose the drop down for What If Analysis. And from that drop down, I'm going to select Scenario Manager. So here opens up my dialog box. Now, using a Scenario Manager, you always want to make a copy of your original scenario first, because these figures in here will be changing. So if you ever want to go back to take a look at your originals, that will also be saved as a scenario. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to add a scenario, and I'm going to name this Original Values. And the changing cells, the ones that are listed here, should be the ones that you have highlighted before you open up your dialog box. So I have B4, B6 through B12, and I also have B17. So if you ever need to change them, you can do those in your changing cells field. And then your comment at the bottom, this is optional. You don't have to have a comment, but you can put a description in here if you want to. And then from here, I would click my OK button. And this next dialog box is where you would enter your values. So unfortunately, it doesn't show the labels for each. You can see it only shows the cell reference B4. Doesn't tell us that that is the number of seats here. So you always want to make sure you're matching up the correct entry here. But here's where you would input your values. So again, I'm not going to be changing these values because I'm making a copy of my original scenario first. So all of these are going to stay the same. And I can click OK from here. So now my original values scenario is listed in my Scenario Manager dialog box. So now I can go on to create additional scenarios. So I'll make 3 more from here. I'll go ahead and click my Add button. And maybe this next scenario I'll call Medium Venue. My changing cells are going to be staying the same because the cells are going to be staying the same. The actual values in them will be changing. Again, you can change your comment if you want to. I'll leave it as is. Click OK from here. And now for my medium venue, I want to input what I want my values to change to. So for my number of seats for my medium venue, we're going to increase this to 800. My talent, I'm going to increase to $7,500. Venue rental, $1,000. Amplification, we'll increase that to 600. And I'm tabbing over in between each field. That quickly navigates me to the next cell. And then we have our lighting. We'll put that as $350. Ticketing, $250. and security $300, and insurance $250. And then our last one, don't forget in B17, this is going to be the price per ticket. For our medium venue, I'm going to increase the price per ticket to $35. And I can click OK from here. So this brings me back to my Scenario Manager dialog box. You can see I have original value saved and I have medium venue now. I'm going to go ahead and input a third, and we'll call this large venue. Again, our changing cells stay the same. Click OK. And for this, we'll have 1,500 seats. Cost of $12,000 for talent. $3,500 for venue rental. $1,000 for amplification. $700 for lighting. $350 for ticketing. $1,000 for security. $500 for insurance. And the price per ticket for our large venue will be $500. Sorry, 50, not 500. Not many people would go to that concert. And I'll click OK from here as well. So now I have 3 different scenarios. We'll go ahead and add one more to that. We'll do extra large venue. Our input changing cells stay the same. Click OK. And we'll say that this holds 5,000 people. Talent costs $25,000. Venue rental $10,000. Sound or amplification $2,500. Lighting $2,000. Ticketing $500. Security $2,500. Insurance $2,500. And then lastly, our ticket price will increase this to $55. And I'll click OK from here. So now we have our different scenarios. So I have them all created. Now what from here? Still showing my original scenario on my worksheet, but I can simply double click on any of these scenarios. I can switch to my medium venue, and you can see it automatically changes the input cells, my changing cells that I had selected, and it automatically calculation for me. And I could scroll through to see my different revenue. What's holding me up here? So you can see for the medium venue, I have profit of $33,750. If I wanted to switch to my large venue, double click from here, changes my amounts, makes the calculations for me based on those inputs. Large venue, I would have a profit of $85,950. Extra large venue, double click, profit of $330,000. Now, yeah, you can look at them one by one, but what if you wanted to compare them side by side? To the right in my Scenario Manager dialog box, here I have a summary button. And when I select that and in the report type, select Scenario Summary and click OK, It's automatically going to create a new worksheet for me entitled Scenario Summary. And on here, it'll show your current values, which ones you have on screen right now. It'll show the original values that you started with, your medium venue. You can see I have my input numbers for that, my large venue, and my extra large venue numbers. So you can compare them side by side. Now, it only shows you the actual changing cells here, but you can change the description of this if you wanted to actually type in what this is exactly signifying. So for this would be number of seats, talent, venue, amplification, lighting, ticketing, security, insurance, and ticket price. So you could change those labels if you wanted to, so you can actually see what these numbers are signifying. And then this would be profit or loss. So you have a nice little setup there that you would be able to compare the different scenarios on a worksheet all on its own. So unlike data tables where you get on your actual worksheet that you're working in all of the different numbers results there, you can actually create different scenarios here and have it all listed on a different worksheet to compare them all. Your next video will be activity 5.2 on page 105.